Demystifying generative AI. What you need to know. Everyone has heard about ChatGPT, but what about the technology behind it? Some of the most well-known names in consumer artificial intelligence are ChatGPT, Bing AI, and Google Bard. All three products have one feature. They are all generative AI solutions. But what exactly is generative AI? And what has fueled the new interest in this resurgent AI space? What exactly is generative AI? Generative AI, sometimes known as generative artificial intelligence, is a sort of artificial intelligence system that can generate unique or original content such as text, audio, movies, or photos on demand. Unlike standard AI systems that are designed to perform tasks such as data classification or analysis, generative AI models are primarily focused with developing innovative or creative outputs based on the instructions they are given. While generative AI may seem like a new technology, it has actually been around for decades. Several iterations and forms have been around at least as early as the 1960s. Artificial intelligence is a vast field, and generative AI is just a subsection. One of the most fascinating aspects of using a generative AI tool like ChatGPT or Google's Bard AI is the ability of these tools to generate content that matches your request. You ask ChatGPT to write a poem in the style of William Shakespeare, and you get something strikingly similar to Shakespeare's work. You ask it to create a speech in the style of Donald Trump, and you'd get something that impressively mimics the tone of the former US president. So, how is this possible? How is generative AI able to pull off such a fascinating feat? How generative AI works. The working mechanism of a generative AI model involves a complex interplay of various deep learning techniques and algorithms. The exact details of how a generative model works depend on its goals and the underlying architecture. For instance, a generative model for generating audio snippets will have a different working mechanism from one meant for generating videos or text. However, most, if not all, generative models operate on the same fundamental level. They learn from enormous amounts of data, capture patterns and styles in the data, and then utilize these acquired patterns to replicate samples similar to what they learned in their training data. Consider generative AI technologies to be music composers. Consider that this music composer has studied the harmonies, melodies, rhythms, and structures of several musical genres. In other words, this composer is well versed in a variety of musical styles. The composer can use this knowledge to create original or unique music that is influenced by what they have studied. So, if they've learned a lot about pop music, you could ask them to compose a pop song, and they won't have a problem doing so. The composed music would then be an expression of the composer's understanding of what pop music should look like based on what they've learned. Similarly, the product of generative AI is an expression of the AI model's understanding of the underlying concepts learned from its training data. So, if you want to create a generative AI model that generates pictures of cars, you'd have to feed the model a huge data set of car images. To create an impressive model, you'd need to feed it pictures of as many car brands and models as you can think of. With enough training, the algorithm will learn what each car brand or model looks like, and will be able to create images of almost any car you can think of on demand. Popular generative AI models. There are hundreds of generative AI models currently in development or already being deployed in the consumer AI market. Some of the popular ones you should know of include 1. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. GPT, created by OpenAI, is one of the most well-known names in the generative AI sector. Its popularity is based on its performance as a conversational AI model and the viral success of the ChatGPT chatbot, which is powered by GPT. It is a huge language model that, when asked, generates human-like text. The GPT model has been trained on a vast quantity of different text input, as is typical of any generative AI model. 2. Pathways Language Model, PaLM, an experimental large language model by Google, is a powerful generative AI model capable of performing a large range of tasks like creative writing, code generation, language translation, and a number of other text-based natural language tasks. Like GPT, PaLM was trained on a large corpus of text data sourced from a wide array of sources across the web. It is the AI model that powers Google's Bard AI. 3. Music Language Model, MusicalM, Musicalm is another generative AI model from Google. It is designed to generate high-fidelity music from simple text prompts. Trained on thousands of hours of music across various genres, the generative model can create unique music by using simple descriptions of the music you need as inputs. If you're wondering how good it is, here's our review of the Musicalm model. 4. DALL-E. DALL-E is OpenAI's AI image generation model designed to create multiple styles of unique imagery from text prompts. It is a multimodal implementation of the GPT model, trained on numerous text-image pairs from various sources across the internet. Beyond generative AI models, you'll also find generative AI products like Midjourney, DALL-E Image Generator, Stable Diffusion Image Generator, Hugging Chat, and several other impressive AI products powered by generative AI models. Why has generative AI exploded in popularity? On November 30, 2022, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman announced the launch of ChatGPT in a tweet. Despite being OpenAI's CEO, Altman was relatively unknown in the larger internet community, and his tweet came with little to no fanfare. 5 days later, ChatGPT had gathered its first 1 million users. It did so at a rate unheard of by any app. It gathered several million more, eventually making ChatGPT the fastest-growing app of all time. While ChatGPT is not the first generative AI product, its arrival on the AI product scene brought generative AI into public consciousness more than any other tech product before it. While ChatGPT has been the tip of the spear in propelling the hype around generative AI, it didn't do it alone. 2022 will be remembered as the year generative AI tools went mainstream. From conversational AI chatbots to code and art generators, the second half of 2022 was the first time multiple AI tools that had both mass appeal and practical day-to-day uses had hit the market. With these tools came the popularity of its underlying technology, generative AI. Generative AI tools such as Bing AI, Google's Bard, DALL-E, ChatGPT, and Midjourney have seamlessly woven themselves into the fabric of our daily lives, constantly presenting us with their remarkable creations. Whether it's the captivating write-ups crafted by ChatGPT or the astonishingly lifelike images conjured by Midjourney, generative AI has become an ever-present companion, accompanying us day in and day out. This is the genesis of the recent popularity of generative AI. Embrace generative AI. The popularity of generative AI tools is not a fad. Unlike some recent technological trends that gained popularity and fizzled away with time, generative AI is a technology that holds actual practical benefits. As this resurgent technology niche snuggles its way into almost all aspects of our digital life, it's best to seek out ways to make the best use of the technology rather than being puzzled about it.